We are headed to one of my favorite places in the world. I've been a traveler for a long time, but the combination of beauty, water, and family nostalgia is hard to beat among the islands of Puget Sound in the Pacific Northwest. We flew into the little Bellingham, Washington airport, though usually we fly into Seattle, and were picked up by my brother and wife. Eating a hasty lunch after grocery shopping, we drove to the ferry landing in Anacortes, where we had more time to greet 3 of my 4 brothers and wives before we embarked on our car ferry to Orcas Island.
Smile, you're on YouTube.
I'm sure my love for the island was fueled by our mother, who taught us to love all things ocean, islands, and coast. She read to us as children from the books of Robert McCloskey, especially his book, Time of Wonder. It was about East Coast islands, but we are West Coast people, and these are our islands. I'm sure that influence helped propel one of my brothers, Mark, to buy a cabin on Orcas Island more than 20 years ago. Since then, the cabin has been a mainstay of family reunions, getaways, vacations, and because of Mark and his wife Elizabeth's generosity, a place for those in ministry to recharge, in addition to being a vacation rental. This trip was a sibling and wives reunion, and all but my youngest brother and his wife were able to attend. Getting to the islands is half the fun, and on a nice day, we probably spend as much time outside as in, especially when the ferry pulls up to a new island landing. This is Shaw Island, and it sits just across the channel from Orcas Island ferry landing, where we will be getting off. To give you a little better idea of where we are, this is a map of some of the islands in Puget Sound. If you come up to Anacortes, you can take the ferry across to 4 islands. You can stop at Lopez, Shaw, across to Orcas, and on to San Juan Island. Those are the only 4 islands that the ferries serve. Orcas Island is kind of a horseshoe shape. This is the ferry landing here and also where the house is. The main town is Eastsound, and it's right here. And then right in here is a huge state park and Mount Constitution. Heading to Orcas, we begin to see the familiar white buildings, including the historic Orcas Hotel, just slightly up the hill to the left, where we've savored many a latte and muffin while waiting for a ferry to come in. When they bought the house, Mark and Elizabeth had no idea how fortunate it would be to be so close to the ferry landing. Once we arrive, we are on island time. Most of us immediately slow down and begin to relax, except for a couple of brothers who always have a project going.
Make sure you get how hard I'm working.
Most of our evenings are simple. We have a scheduled rotating dinner duty, admire the sunset, and settle in for our almost nightly round of games. What a beautiful new day. We like to talk, and believe me, it can go on for a while. Then hiking was on the agenda. Ron and I drove toward Eastsound, where we dropped Elizabeth to explore the town, and then for a mostly leisurely flat hike, we headed to Crescent Beach Preserve.
Hello.
One thing we love about the island are the many hiking trails. Because Ron needs another knee replacement, we chose an easier path. But David and Sylvia and Mark and Byron headed up Turtleback Mountain, a mostly steep climb, but one with rewarding views at the top. Back in town after our walk, we looked for refreshments.
This looks interesting. This
Yeah.
is new, isn't it?
I haven't seen it before.
Haven't seen it. See here. Was you've already eaten lunch?
Yeah, thanks. I did.
Okay. Well, then what do you? So we'll have one of those, and what is that? What's in the middle of that roll? That white?
It's a Maricosi. So
That is so pretty.
Is that the market you in?
Yeah, it's a yeah, it's a co-op.
Eastsound is a small village with cute shops and cozy restaurants. While some have remained for years, other establishments come and go, as many are dependent on tourist traffic, which is often heavy in the summer but not as much in the off-season. The Island Time Shop is new to downtown, but Crow Valley Pottery and Darville's Bookstore have been there for the long term. Sitting on the shore of Eastsound, hence the town's name, some merchants and Emmanuel Episcopal Church have enviable locations. The Outlook Inn, which was closed for many years, is now open again. It was hard to tear ourselves away, but dinner awaited us back home.
Praise Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Amen.
Whoa. Hey, hold on.
A trip to San Juan Island and one of our favorite locations, Roche Harbor, was on the agenda for the next day. There's so much to share about that island that we will save it for our next video next week. Don't miss it. On the day following our visit to San Juan, we were back in Eastsound when we came upon an unexpected parade for Earth Day. This was by far the most people I had ever seen downtown. It seemed like half the island turned out. Everyone congregated at the Episcopal Church, But I had begun to feel a cold coming on, so we soon headed back home. We had had great weather all week, but now it began to rain. Ah, the Northwest. On Sunday, everyone attended church and then went out to eat, except for me. I was sick at home. I counted on Ron to record most of the rest of the week's activities, such as Mount Constitution, the highest point in Puget Sound, where years ago the Civilian Conservation Corps built a tower, and the views stretch for miles.
We're hiking around Mountain Lake. The color of this water is just a beautiful green and then blue-green.
The next day was a short hike to Judd Cove Preserve.
This lime kiln was built in 1888.
There are so many other places to discover on Orcas Island that we didn't get a chance to show you. Obstruction Pass State Park, Orcas Island Pottery, Cascade Lake, Deer Harbor, just to name a few. You just need to come here. One of our family's favorite quotes is from McCloskey's book, Time of Wonder, that we often read. A little bit sad about the place you are leaving, a little bit glad about the place you are going. Our favorite place to stop when leaving the island is the Donut House in Anacortes. You know I'm sick when I don't eat one of their donuts.
Who's that guy eating all that ice cream?
Oh, gallon. Wait a minute.
Seriously.
We'd appreciate it if you would like and subscribe.